We now come to the item where we will have an address by Mr. Jerry Dias, President of UNIFOR. And as I indicated earlier, UNIFOR is a major trade union in Canada, started with the amalgamation of the United Auto Workers and workers in the food, restaurants, and allied industries. GAU has had a long association with the United Auto Workers, and that relationship has continued. And so we are indeed happy, we are delighted, and we are grateful for the solidarity rendered by this major trade union in Canada to the cause of our sugar workers in Guyana. We welcome you, Brother Dias, and we invite you to the podium to address us.
Jerry Dias. I'm the National President of UNIFOR. UNIFOR is the largest private sector union in Canada. We represent over 315,000 members. We represent workers in the 20 largest industrial sectors of the economy in Canada. So I'm here for a variety of reasons. Of course, solidarity is the basic premise of why I'm here, but I come here for very personal reasons as well. My parents and two of my sisters were born here in Guyana. My father was born in Mahaica, and we're going to go to the Mahaica Primary School tomorrow, where he went to school. My mother was born in Georgetown, lived on Regent Street. We're several generations Guyanese. I was born in Canada, but my roots are clearly Guyanese. So when I listened and I followed what is happening here in Guyana, the challenges with the restructuring of the sugar industry, we want to make sure that as a union in Canada, that we work closely with you as we fight and find solutions. Because in Canada, we are going through similar issues, similar problems. Because it's not countries or borders that separate us. It's the issues and the fights of working class people that bring us together. Because whether or not it's a plant closure of an auto plant in Canada, or the shutting down of a mill in the forestry sector that leaves communities completely abandoned, whether or not it's the closure of the Heinz ketchup plant in Leamington, Ontario, which wiped out an entire community of farmers, when we start talking about restructuring, I will argue, never works out well for the workers. Because the basic premise is one of capital, is one of profitability. And ultimately, as working class people, we have to find solutions as we move forward. So as I have said, we represent workers in the 20 largest economic sectors. And we have felt the pain of entire communities getting wiped out. For example, I can talk today about the current dispute we have right now with the United States of America. Because many of the challenges we're facing today in Canada are not as a result of government policies, but are as a result of the Donald Trump policies in the United States that are having negative impacts on workers across the country. So I am fortunate that I am working with the Canadian government, and I am a part of the trade team that is negotiating the North America Free Trade Agreement with the United States and Mexico. So much of the time that I spend at the bargaining table and I'm spending with the Canadian team are talking about Mexican workers. Because if you take a look at the agreement between Canada, the United States, and Mexico, A lot of jobs left Canada, a lot of jobs went to left the United States. A lot of those jobs went to Mexico, but the Mexican workers never received the wages or salaries that they deserve. They were never compensated. So the whole issue of NAFTA, or the premise of NAFTA, was somehow to move jobs from higher wage countries and put the jobs in Mexico, where the Mexican workers have continued to be exploited. A Mexican worker minimum wage is $1.10 an hour. We closed 4 auto plants in Canada. They closed 10 in the United States. They opened 8 in Mexico. They're opening 2 more in Mexico. And a Mexican auto worker would never be able to afford to buy the car that they build. So there's something inherently wrong with an economic structure, global economic structure, where workers can contribute so much to the profitability of corporations, yet are respected so little. So I'm here today as the son of Guyanese parents that grew up listening to the Sparrow, what was the other? We had Dragon, our infamous music, Pepper Pot, Saltfish Chew, Old Crow. Loved it. So here I am looking to go visit my cousin Donna to have bakes and saltfish. She better have it ready because I'm hungry. But I say it respectfully because I'm here because we want to help. UNIFOR has what we call the Social Justice Fund. And what it is, it's a fund that, if you can imagine, as a part of our collective bargaining strategy, as we negotiate wages and benefits for our members, we negotiate a few cents an hour that go into this social justice fund. And this fund, funded by the corporations through our collective bargaining, allows us to participate in a lot of global operations, a lot of global solidarity projects. In my former union, the Canadian Auto Workers Union, we worked with GAWU for many, many years. And years ago, we worked with GAWU on a project to work with your research, set up a research communications department. And I'm here today as a result of the challenges of the sugar industry. And I'm here today following, of course, the fact, and Kamal raised it, the whole issue of the hundreds of workers that have yet to receive their severance, of course, the impact that this has on thousands of workers, and once again, the impact it has on communities. So I'm here today to work with Kamal and GAWU as we move forward with the next project that will really be tied into training 120 community coordinators in the 6 areas where the estates are impacted. And as we would like to work with you to fund the project for the complete training of the 120 community coordinators. So this is our act of solidarity to work with you through help you in training and collective bargaining, but more importantly, as we come together as international unions and working with you at GAWU, as we fight for justice for our communities and for the workers who are negatively impacted by this decision. As workers, we have our labor, but we also have our voice and we have our strength. And we have the ability to mobilize. So it's important that you understand in my discussion, when I talked about the role that we are playing with NAFTA, that as a result of the relationship that we have with our government. It's as a result of the relationship we have with the government where they understand that working class people are going to have a voice. So it's very important, and you know this, and Kamal talked about it, The only way we're going to find solutions is when we're all in a room together. The government, the labor unions, the communities that are impacted. Because there has to be a solution. We can't put thousands of workers on the street. We can't shut down the main industry or restructure the main industry in Guyana, creating such economic hardship and chaos for people without finding real solutions. And I know there's discussions about the selling of some of the estates, but the issue has to be, how do we reopen the estates and how do we make sure that the workers have a future for the short and, more importantly, the long term? So there has to be solutions, and the only way that the solutions are achieved is at the table, through discussions and through commitment. So on my final remarks will be around the challenges that we are facing globally. Because trade deals, as I said, have never been really about working class people. If I take a look at Canada, prior to the North America Free Trade Agreement, we had a trade surplus in manufacturing. Today we have about $120 billion deficit, and we've lost over 500,000 manufacturing jobs. So the trade agreement is about talking about labor issues. It's about talking about Mexican workers. It's about talking about Mexican workers' wages. It's about ensuring the concept of free collective bargaining, because the only way the workers in Mexico are going to be able to have real economic stability is through a union and free collective bargaining. And so those are the things that we are pushing at the NAFTA table and some of the agreements that we have had both Mexico and the United States agree to. So I'm here out of solidarity, I'm here out of respect, and I'm here with so much thanks for everything that GAU does for working class people in Guyana. I'm here, my friend, as a brother. Thank you very much, comrades.